some of this wool here. And go to a spinning wheel. And as you can see, there's lots of spinning wheels here. Some are part of a collection, some are for sale, and I'm a dealer for several brands of new ones that that are popular these days. And there's groups of spinners all over the country where people get together and meet in homes and so forth and work on their spinning projects. And it's surprising the number of knitters that are only knitting with their synthetic yarns that they buy in the store and don't know what real wool and real yarn is. This is some yarn I made with, at random, wool from different colors of the sheep. And I like a variegated yarn that way from several different sheep. And variegated is more interesting to spin with, and it's more interesting to knit with. For the moment, we have some of our gray-brown wool here. And the spinning wheel will twist the wool and wind it up all in one step. So I'm going to splice on, holding the wool I'm starting with against what's left from last time, and pinch it until the twist starts getting in there. And then I can draw it out and let it spin into the spinning wheel. And if I pedal more and pull it out finer, I can make a thin, fine yarn. And quite often, fine yarns are plied together to make sturdier yarns. And if I don't have much use for a fine yarn, I myself like to knit or crochet or weave with a thicker yarn. So seeing I have Icelandic sheep, I like to make a lopi style yarn like they have in Iceland, where you're spinning a sort of a low twist, bulkier yarn. See, I'll do it a little bit more bulky now. And I've been spinning for about half a century. I was a home ec teacher at Houston, Minnesota from 1966 to 1971. And an elderly lady in the community got me started with spinning at that time. And she had a couple of spinning wheels in her family, and her family wasn't interested, so they let me buy one of them, which I still have in the house. And at that time, there weren't very many people doing hand spinning. In her family, they had still continued to do it, and they were making their mittens and stocking caps and so forth with hand spun yarn. And she demonstrated at the museum in Decorah, and she didn't drive, so I was her chauffeur. I drove her down, and I was her apprentice. I sat there and carded wool while she spun. So you can be traditional with spinning, or you can do more modern techniques with it. You can take some wool that's not carded and make a sort of a novelty yarn out of just using the locks of wool and so forth, and feeding it into the spinning wheel. And depending on the spinning wheel, this doesn't work on all kinds of spinning wheels. Some have an orifice that's too small for the big lumps to fit in there. But now I'm going to just let this wool fly in, and here, if I see an interesting little lock, I'll leave it stick out and let it go into the spinning wheel. And there's just lots of methods and techniques for various novelty yarns, but this is one simple one. Now it takes a little practice to get started spinning. Beginners have to go through a learning curve where they get kind of frustrated, but if they keep at it, they'll be able to keep it going.